This was my last trip to Corregidor Island just a month ago, and I was realizing that even though I didn't take my camera and my drone and things that I took with me last summer, I thought, wow, I took a lot of photos, and I thought, why not put together a little slideshow here and share some of these photos with people who might be interested in Corregidor Island and my experience there. I love coming to this island. I've been here, coming here since 1990, since I was a kid, and this trip was just after Valentine's Day, so that's why there was that balloon that had blown across from Bata on. And I just kind of organized these slides by kind of time, in order of things that we did. But on our first day, we hiked up to Malinta Tunnel, and that was us passing the north entrance of Malinta Tunnel. This is the remains of Goalpost Ridge, which was a place of severe fighting in 1945. This is a tunnel for a searchlight, old searchlight that would have been there back in the day. Anyway, it's just a special place to come and hike and explore, and I'll never get tired of it. You could spend a lifetime on this island, and view from top of Malinta Tunnel looking west towards the North Dock there. Nice hot day, but very windy, and I'll show some of that later in a video. It was nice and windy the whole time we were there, and it kept us cool. There's some original graffiti there from, I believe, 41, 42. My friend John Moffat and I kind of playing with an old anti-aircraft position there. Now we're back kind of towards the Navy Tunnel entrances on the side of Malinta, kind of exploring around. Hiking down, this was the road to Officers Beach. I never showed the trash last time because I don't like to, show the island in a negative light, but there is a lot of trash that comes out of Manila Bay and sadly kind of collects there on the north side of the island, and it's a lot, and there's nothing you can do to stop it other than just stop throwing trash away. We hiked around. This is still our first day. Just some interesting places I've never seen before. I always see something new when I come to the island. Towards the the end of this last day, we stopped at the old Corregidor Inn and took a look at some of the conditions of what it looks like. It's basically just sitting ready to be reopened. It needs a little bit of work. There was a little bit of water damage here and there, but this is just, it makes me sad because I used to come here in the 90s and the early 2000s and stay here and enjoy it, and now it's just kind of mothballed. So, all right. On our next day, which was February 16th, was kind of a special day. It was the anniversary of a special event that occurred in 1945, which is two soldiers bravely climbed a telephone pole that was standing near the parade ground and hoisted the colors. And this was, the 48 star flag. There's the gentleman that hoisted the flag. So to commemorate that, my friends find a 48 star flag and hoist it up on the 16th of February. And they did it once several years ago, and it kind of started becoming a tradition. And there's Jerry Rollins and another gentleman there from the CFI Foundation. But it was a privilege, and I've got a lot of respect for our flag and treating it with respect, and to be able to honor those men who raised it 78 years ago was kind of cool. There's Carl raising the flag, and there's Old Glory waving in the wind, and on the exact spot where that took place in 45. All right, kind of jumping ahead here. We were very excited to investigate a kind of a tunnel that nobody had really seen for years and years, and it was like a gun emplacement that John Moffat discovered. And this is just some of the interesting graffiti that was on the walls. This shows how I wasn't really taking photos to tell the story necessarily. I was just snapping things that were interesting to me. But I've always wondered if this graffiti was war period, because it just kind of looks like it. And if this was a gun position that was manned by Philippine scouts, some of those graffitis there kind of would tell that story. There's our veranda looking west out towards the ocean, and sitting having a break with my friend Paul Whitman, author. And just some interesting nature, some things that I saw on the island that I loved. I ran right into that beehive, and thankfully it wasn't active. Okay, take a look at this photo. There's a snake hiding here, a sawa, they say in Tagalog, or a boa constrictor. And I almost stepped on this thing. It scared the crap out of me, and it was beautiful. Though I got close enough to take a picture of it. But yeah, there are snakes on the island, and usually they're harmless and they're afraid of humans, but you do run into them every once in a while. That's Battery Cheney. I used to camp there when I was in high school with my friends. It was kind of a neat place. It's kind of a neglected place, unfortunately, because not a lot of the tourists make it down there, but it was nice to see Battery Cheney. I didn't get to see it last summer, and now here it is on this trip. One of the observation posts somewhere around that area. Here's some little artifacts that I found in the C1 tunnel, which I had explored for the first time. They've got cats on Corregidor and near the MacArthur Inn, specifically this little guy. And what we realized is, and Paul was telling me, is if you put a collar with a bell on these cats, then they are less likely to attack the bird life and rare birds that can be on Corregidor. So let's see, this is our third day. Today was kind of a special day because we went hiking into the James Ravine area, and I found a very special artifact in a tunnel in James Ravine, and that was a dog tag belonging to a soldier. And there it is. That's the front of it, which is almost illegible, but when you flip it over in the back, you can see the imprint of the letters and numbers. And what I did was I looked at it closely and then did a mirror image on my phone, and then I was able to read Daniel Crowley, and then I could read his serial number, and I Googled him, and he turned out to be an amazing man with an amazing story, and he lived to be 99 years old. He only passed away last year, as a matter of fact. So it was a joy to find that tag, and I've been able to send it back to his widow, who is still living in Connecticut. There's John with an old Japanese gun emplacement. Well, this is kind of fun. When we were hiking around, I paused and listened, and the wind was so strong on the island that it was just blowing through the trees and the jungle. And here it is, the wind blowing through this group of bamboo, and it was just rather beautiful and haunting. So I'll let you listen to this for a little while. Too much into this supernatural side of things when it comes to Corregidor Island, but some people, talk about hearing voices and screaming and things like that sometimes, and you wonder, hey, maybe it was the wind. Let's see, our last day here. This was a hike down, for the most part, I'll remember. There's the boys, there's me and Carl and Paul and John. And basically today, I remember this day as a hike down to the tail, and really to the end of the tail. I've never been there before, ever, in all my visits, and it was very special. We passed through the civilian cemetery on the way down. Lots of tall Kogan grass, elephant grass to press through to get there. But once we popped out and saw the view, it was all worth it. So this is about as far east as you can go on the island, on the tail section of the island. And it's just beautiful and breathtaking. So, there we are, popped out, and very windy and beautiful. And there's Caballo Island off there in the distance. I could have walked or swam out to that last point there, Hooker Point it's called, but I decided not to. But it's just definitely beautiful. There's Carl. You can pick up a piece of driftwood and use it as a piece of bamboo as a staff to walk around with. All right, here's the last project of the last day for me was there's a missing barracks, infantry barracks, located right here on Battery Point, and there's the blueprints for it, and we can't find it. We can't find the entrances, we can't find the air shafts. This is what the hillside looks like when you kind of hike out there and look at it, and it's one of my projects is to really going back 20 years is to find out what happened to this thing, and nobody can seem to find it. And it's huge. It could hold 200 men inside, and all we have is little pieces of concrete and stuff like that on the hillside. So maybe one day we'll find it and be able to open it up and see what's inside. So I just kind of spent the last of my afternoon of my last day kind of scraping around looking for evidences of a ventilation shaft into that tunnel. Here's another just quick video, one of the only videos I took while I was on the island. It was super windy while we were there the whole time, which was kind of neat. It kept us cool and we were hiking, and also it just kind of sounded so So nice and a little bit haunting, but just a little bit of the sound of that wind. And that's about it for my photos. Thanks for watching, and hope you get to make it out to Corregidor Island someday. It's beautiful.